A dollar today is worth more than a dollar tomorrow? Why should I invest my money? How come everyone's telling me not to just put my money underneath my bed? These are some of the questions you might have asked yourself. Today, I'm going to walk you through the basics of finding the answer to these questions and helping you understand where and what you should be doing with your money. Let's start by talking about the future value of money. Let's say I have $5,000 right now, and I want to know what that money is going to be worth in 10 years. Excel has a great formula called future value, FV. The future value of money helps us understand how much X amount of dollars right now is worth in X amount of years. We need a few inputs before we get started. First of all, we need the rate. What the rate means is what is a typical return I could get if I put my money somewhere else. That could be a savings account, investing in government bonds, or investing in the stock market. Let's say our rate is 7%. How long will this be in the market or in the savings account? Let's say we'll have it in for 10 years. Payments, we won't have any. The payments mean, so for example, if I was getting paid $1,000 every year for my investment, at the end of every year, I'd put $1,000. But if we're just putting a single sum of money into the market or into our savings account, we won't have any payments. Maybe a few cents on the dollar for dividends, but that's not too much to think about. There's 12 months per year. And what is the present value of our money? How much money am I putting in the market today? Let's say we're going to put in $5,000. So, what the future value formula will tell us is how much money is my $5,000 worth in 10 years. So, we're going to do FV, future value, and then we're going to select the rate. And since we're going to do it, it's going to be compounding monthly, we're going to want that rate divided by 12. Then we're going to do the number of periods where we'll be investing, which is 120 months, which is 10 times 12. And then we want to do our payments, which is 0. And then we want to do our present value, which is 5,000. So if we invested $5,000 into the stock market today, in 10 years, we would have approximately doubled our money. Wow. That is much better than putting $5,000 under your mattress, and when you take it out in 10 years, it's still $5,000. Next, we have the present value of a single sum. So, how to think about this is how much is $5,000 in 10 years worth to me right now? So, using that same logic, we have the rate, how many periods, we'll put 10 to keep it consistent with yesterday. Again, we're going to do no payments, 12 months. And now we're saying, how much is our $5,000 in 10 years worth to me right now? So this is kind of reverse engineering what we just did. What we just did was looking as if we were going to invest that money in a certain investment, but now we're looking at how much that money in 10 years is worth to us right now. So we're going to do the same thing, a very similar formula. We're going to do the rate divided by the months, then the periods multiplied by the months to match those up, and then the payment, which is 0, and then we'll do future value. So right now it's negative because we're saying if we gave away $3,035 right now, or we're going to do 7% because that's what we did in the last one. So if we gave away $2,500 right now at a 7% rate, we would get in return in 10 years $5,000. So this is what we mean when we say the time value of money. A dollar today is worth more than a dollar tomorrow because there's securities in places that we can put our money right now, like the stock market, where that money can grow and it can become more as if we just kept it in one spot. Now, to look at this through a different lens, we have something called the present value of an annuity. An annuity is something that pays us over a period of time. So if we invested in a government bond, for example, we pay $1,000 and then we receive a coupon payment every 6 months or every year. So this would be a type of annuity. So another annuity could be if you have a foundation that gives students X number of dollars every year for 50 years. That could be an annuity as well. So We want to understand how much money an annuity is worth to us right now. So we're going to do that same 7% rate. The inputs are the same. And we're going to say we're going to get paid $600 a month. And how much is that worth to me right now? So now we'll do that same present value formula and we'll do all the same inputs. But instead of doing 0 for the payments, now we have $600 for the payments. And then we're going to say our future value is worth nothing. So we're saying, wow, if we get paid $600 for 120 months, that's worth $51,000. But wait, what if I just do 600 times 120? How much is that going to give me? $72,000. So why are these numbers different? The $72,000 is just the cash. That's how much cash we'll have received over that time period, but the present value of that cash we received is $51,000. It's $51,000 much less than the $72,000 because we're recognizing every time we receive that $600, we could put it in a security that gives us a 7% return. And because we can do that, that money, the $72,000 we're going to get today, is only worth $51,000 to us right now. So if someone said, hey, I'll give you $72,000 over the course of 12 years and I'll pay you $600 every month, or I'll give you $60,000 right now, which one would you pick? You should pick the $60,000, even though it's $12,000 less. You should pick the $60,000 right now because you know that you can invest it in the stock market at a 7% return and get more than your $72,000. So that's how we should think, and you should think about investing money and having money is, okay, what returns can I get for this money instead of how much money will I have in 10 years? How much money is that worth to you right now? How much is your money right now worth in 10 years? Now we're going to look at an example of something we could do. So let's say my friend Johnny says, I'm making a hot dog stand. It's going to be great. It's going to grow. And I want you to invest in that hot dog stand. What questions should you ask? What should you do? But let's say he gives you a schedule. He says, okay, if you give me $30,000, I can provide you these returns over the course of 8 years. And you say, okay, let's see how much these are. So we're going to say our cash flow. Okay, Johnny, let's see what the sum of all the money that you'll give us. Wow, we'll get $52,000. That sounds pretty good. But we also have to invest $30,000. So we're going to say, okay, I'll make about $22,000 over the course of 8 years. Is this a good investment? Well, if these numbers are right, I don't know. If we're looking at it through an undiscounted cash flow lens or not looking at the time value of money, we'd say, yeah, this is great. But let's say we can also invest into the stock market at 10%. Now, how does this change our analysis? Should we still invest or should we put our money in the stock market? So now what we can do is we can do something called the net present value, or the NPV. So what the NPV shows us is at what rate and what cash flows are coming in, how much is the project worth to us. So our rate is 10% because that's what we could also get if we invested in the stock market. And these are all of our values. So this is only worth $476 to me. Is that right? What the net present value is showing us is if we require a 10% return, how much money will we get in addition to that 10% return? So it's saying, okay, your net present value is positive. So anytime your NPV on a project is positive, it means you should invest because it's above your discount rate. There's a formula called the IRR, which shows us the percentage return that a project will give us. All we needed to do is highlight the values from Johnny's project, and it shows how much that return will give us. So we'll make about 10.36%. So something interesting we do, if we make the IRR our discount rate, our NPV will be zero because it's saying either project you do, if you do this project or don't do this project, you'll make the same. So let's test it. So the NPV is zero. But what happens if we have another option? Johnny gives us this option, and then we have another option that says we'll give you 12% a year. And so should we invest in Johnny's project or the 12% a year? Let's check. So if we do 12% a year, our NPV is negative because it's less than what we require. So even though we're making a cash flow over the course of 8 years, understanding our other opportunities with how much we can invest is critical to learning if we should invest in Johnny's project. And finally, I want to walk you through what you should do with your money and the different options of what you could do. So I have a few options here that people leave their money in. We have a checkings account, a savings account, treasuries, or like bonds or fixed incomes, or the stock market. Where should you put your money? So each one of these has a different rate of return. So let's say we have $25,000. So I put $25,000 as our present value in all scenarios because that's how much we have right now. Let's say we want to invest it and put it somewhere for 10 years and forget about it, and then come back in 10 years and see how much it was. So let's use our future value formula that we learned to find out how much our money will be in 10 years. So I'll go ahead and do that. So we have a 0% return. The number of periods which it'll be is 10 years. The payments won't be anything, and the present value will be negative 25,000 because we're investing this money into the market. So if we put it in our checkings account, we would get $25,000 after 10 years. It would stay the same because checkings accounts don't give us returns. Let's say we put it in a savings account, which maybe gives us a 1% return. Let's see what that might look like. So if we copy and paste our formula over, we'll have $27,000 after 10 years. That's $2,000 more dollars. A lot of people just put their money in their savings account because that's where they feel the safest. Let's say we put it in a 10-year treasury that gives us a 5% return. And then let's copy that over and see how much our money will be. Now it's worth $40,000. That's almost double, not quite, but almost double what we would do if we just put it in our checkings account. And then finally, the stock market gets anywhere from 6 to 10% return. Let's put 8%. Now let's see how much that is. Wow. If we put our money in the stock market, we'll get $53,000. I just want to say the stock market doesn't guarantee that return, but it's in the range of average returns. After looking at this, it's crazy to keep your money in your checkings or even your savings account. It's important to have a safety net set aside where you can draw on that in times of emergency or times of need. But if you can set aside just a little bit of money as you go about your life in treasuries, in fixed income, and especially in equities and in the stock market, then your money will grow so much more and it'll help you for retirement. It will help you in the future. These are things that are so important. So go ahead, tell me what I missed. Tell me what else you want to know with these things. These are amazing skills that everyone should know from a personal finance perspective. Keep asking questions, keep researching. I want to know what you think. I want to provide these models to people that you can use and then input as we go on, but you got to subscribe first to make sure you get that. And I want to prepare this and put this up as soon as I can so you can start making smart financial decisions ASAP.